Morning.
Hello. Thank
Hola,
you for
hola.
joining us.
Hello.
Buenas
Hola.
noches por aquí.
Good morning.
I think I know that. Hello. Good morning and good evening to some of you. Welcome to our global launch party. My name is Pam Reuter and I'm with EDF, and I'm here with Vishwani Maharaj, who's with WWF. And before we get started, I just wanted to say a few of these things that you see up on the screen. If you could please introduce yourself in the chat. We'd love to hear who you are, where you're from, and how many years you've been living in a small scale fishing community or working with a small scale fishing community. We welcome you to share your video because we love to see you all and have a more personal touch to the meeting, but please do mute yourself if you aren't talking because it'll make the audio clearer and better for everybody. We have heard that there are a lot of Spanish speakers on this call. So if you go to the bottom of your interpretation of your Zoom screen, you'll see an interpretation button with the globe there, and please select either the English or the Spanish channel. We will have somebody speaking in Spanish later on in the event. So if you put on the English channel now, you'll be sure to have that translated to you in English. And then we weren't able to do all of the live translations for the languages that were requested, but we will try our best to have breakout rooms in your language of choice. So to help us facilitate that, if you go to your Zoom video, in the top right-hand corner, there's 3 little dots, as you can see here on the screen. If you click on these 3 dots, the bottom choice is going to be the option to rename yourself. Please use the 2-letter abbreviation for your preference, your language of preference. So ES for Spanish, PT for Portuguese, IN for Bahasa Indonesia, for example. Like I did here for myself. So I put Portuguese Pamela, and that way we can easily navigate moving you into a room with other people that speak your language if we have enough people to be able to have that be in a room. And if not, we'll have various groups set up in English that you can be meeting each other in. We want to have a chance to have people, since we have people from all over the world, in the spirit of the platform, the SSF Hub platform being a global space, we want to give people a chance to connect and meet people from around the world. So welcome. I see people are starting to introduce themselves. We have some people from Mexico, from Australia, United States, Indonesia. Please continue to add your name, where you're from, and how many years experience you have in small scale fisheries. So how long you've been living in or working in a small scale fishing community. Thank you guys. Some more people from Mexico. Hola. I see somebody from Peru. Bienvenidos. I think buenas tardes or noches. So welcome. As we have people starting to filter in, we'll keep on putting the message in the chat to remind people to choose the interpretation on the bottom of their Zoom screen and set it up for either English or Spanish, and to change your name to indicate your language preference for some smaller group sessions that we'll have later. But right now, I'm going to switch my screen over to a short introductory video. We have people coming in. Oops. And I'm going to start playing a video right now.
Introducing the Small Scale Fisheries Hub, an online space for small scale fishers, fish workers, community leaders, and others involved in small scale fishing to collaborate and work towards creating sustainable fisheries worldwide.
Fishery is like a lifeline community, especially in small islands where fishing is the only source of livelihood.
By having these shared resources, small-scale fishing communities can learn from each other and get inspirations to be applied in their fisheries.
Sometimes through motivation and just discussion, it's easy for us to have solutions to our problems and to be able to celebrate one another.
To unite the voices of people working in small-scale fisheries across the globe, we have created the Small Scale Fisheries Hub, an interactive space for members to learn, share, and grow together as a community. The website's resource library contains manuals, online courses, and tools that relate to the small-scale fisheries guidelines. You can search the library by category, region, or language. You can use the Smart Search tool to explore the site, ask questions about a topic, connect with others working on the same issue, or learn how to take action. Joining the Hub connects you to a network of people from around the world. In the community forum, you can meet like-minded members, participate in online events, ask questions, and exchange ideas and resources. Joining the Small Scale Fisheries Hub is easy. Simply visit the website to create an account. Together, we are building a community of people from around the world to support the governance and development of small-scale fisheries. Become a part of that community today.
I just want to take you back over here. I know a lot of people have just joined, so just really quick, write your name, location, how many years experience you have in small scale fisheries, whether working in, living in a small scale fishing community. Please mute yourself. You have the choice for changing your audio channel to English or Spanish at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and please indicate a language preference for the smaller groups that we'll have later by using the 2-letter abbreviation in front of your name, as this example shows here. Before we jump into a quick tour of the video, I just wanted to introduce myself again. My name is Pam Reuter. I work with EDF, and I'm here with Vishwani Maharaj from WWF. And we're co-hosting this event today to celebrate the launch of the Small Scale Fisheries Resource and Collaboration Hub. The SSF Hub is a new online multilingual platform that provides a space for the people that are working in or with small scale fisheries to share resources, their stories, their experiences with each other, and generally connect and network each other to talk about their shared challenges, to share successes with each other, and network to really highlight the importance of this sector and elevate this sector in the regions where you work and globally. So today we're going to do a quick tour of the Hub and show you a little bit of what's on the Hub. We'll have some time for questions and answers after that. And then we'll have some breakout rooms or smaller groups where we'll have a chance to meet and network with people from all around the world and have start some of this conversation about shared challenges. And then we'll hear from some of the people on this call that are working with small scale fisheries. And we'll close with some takeaways and ideas for us to start using the Hub and becoming a part of this new online community. So before we jump in, I'm going to just launch a quick Zoom poll and ask a little question. So that should be popping up any second now. And this is according to the World Bank's 2012 Illuminating Hidden Harvest report. How many people around the world are dependent on small scale fisheries for their livelihoods? Is it 1 million, 25 million, or 100 million people? I'll give us a chance to have a few more people ask. I see a lot of people are going for 100 million. I will go ahead if you have a quick chance to choose your answer, and I'll share the answers to the results of the poll. I'm going to share the answers. Most of the people did select 100 million, and that is correct. 100 million people, according to this 2012 Illuminating Hidden Harvest report, depend on small scale fisheries for their livelihoods worldwide. There is a new version of this report that's coming out later this year, and we will be linking to that as a resource from the Small Scale Fisheries Hub. Let me just share the results so that you can see it here. So I'm just going to close out of the screen here and switch over to the Hub and give you a small tour of the Small Scale Fisheries Hub and what it contains. This here is the homepage, the Small Scale Fisheries Hub. As you can see here, we have a couple of options that you can navigate to across the top. We have a resource library, a community forum, and about that tells you a little bit about the Small Scale Fisheries Hub. Here you can find some of the partners that work together in developing the hub. And we did have a participative process where we talked to different people and did a needs assessment and tested a few early versions of the hub. And we got input from over 100 people from 19 different countries. I just wanted to indicate this page because there's a contact us section here. And even though we're launching this to the public now, it's going to be a process of constant evolution. And we hope to continuously improve it to meet your needs as users of the hub. So if you have suggestions or ideas, or you see that something's not working as you'd like it to be, please write us using this contact form or using the info@SSF Hub email. I'll go back to the homepage here, and you can see that there's a few options that you have to search for the contents of the hub. So you can use a search function up here. You can use these buttons here to find resources or ask a question. And there's also this smart search tool that allows you to pick a category or a topic of interest and select if you want to learn more or ask a question or connect with others. We are going to have a featured member that we'll be highlighting every 2 to 4 weeks, and we'll just be asking different people that are users of the hub if they would like to be featured here. And here in this SSF highlights section, we're going to be sharing stories from the users of the hub and the members of this community and talking about what they're doing and highlighting fishing practices in different areas, or stories about different artisanal or traditional gears that are being used, or how a certain resource is helping a community overcome a challenge, and just sharing stories from the different people that are a part of this community. Here we have a section where we'll be highlighting the trending resources and trending discussions. So it'll just show a constant evolution of what resources and discussions are getting more clicks and are getting more action. So you can see a little bit of like what the latest is on the hub. I'm going to navigate really quickly over to our resource library. Here you can see the same list of categories to explore that you saw on the homepage. These are in line with the SSF guidelines. And if you scroll over them, there'll be questions here that give you a little bit more insight as to what these categories are. And if you click on them, many times there'll be a list of subcategories, and you'll see a list of resources that are in line with that overall category. You can also use filters in these pages and look at a type of resource. You can look for something that's a story or a guide or a toolkit. You can see things that are used in specific places or regions, and also choose things that are different languages. The SSF Hub doesn't have its own tools and resources. We link to the resources of the different actors around the world that are working on small scale fisheries. So we really hope to have an in-depth list of resources that you can find and come to one place and see what's available there to help support the work that we're all doing in small scale fisheries. Here's an exciting part of the hub, which is the community forum. The community forum has 4 different sections that I want to draw your attention to. This is really the place to collaborate and connect with others within the hub. We have this section on discussions, which are different topics that you can either add a question or respond to a question and come and see. Like, for example, there's a discussion here on the impact of COVID-19 on small scale fisheries, which I know is that's something that small scale fishing communities worldwide are dealing with as a challenge right now. So this is a place that you can link to the resources or the videos and things that you're doing in your communities and share those experiences with each other so that we can learn from each other and hopefully be better equipped to be able to deal with the challenges that something like COVID-19 is bringing us. Here you have a member directory, and you can search and see the people that are a part of this online community. You can also here look at and filter by region, country, or languages. So I'm going to type in Europe here. and you have a list of people that were working in Europe. I'm listed here. I was recently working in Portugal and Spain. So to not pick on anybody else, I'll pick on myself. And this is my profile. You can come here and edit the background picture, your picture, put a little description about yourself, show the things that you have experience with, the languages that you speak. And this really helps you let other people know the experiences that you have and the kind of topics that you want to connect with other people on. In the top right-hand corner here, you can also navigate to your profile, and you have the button here that allows you to edit your profile. So when you go in and sign up, you can come here, edit your profile and make some of these changes and really personalize it to you and your experience and who you are. One last thing before I look at the groups is we have an events page. So here we're going to be listing, and you can contact us using this button here that takes you to a contact form or an email to let us know of upcoming events that are important for small scale fisheries. And using this, you can see what's happening. Like this week, COFI, the Committee on Fisheries, is going on in Rome virtually, and you can go to a link about it. This is the event that we're at, this SSF Hub Global Launch Party. And what's interesting about this, it does adapt the time to your local time zone, is you can see other people that have enrolled. And what I think is exciting about it is that you can start commenting about the event. So it could be a really interesting place to organize with other people and say that there's a big global conference and you want to do a panel on co-management. You could reach out to others and see if there's interest from others and really be able to engage others that have that experience in the field and tell the stories from the fishers' perspectives by coming together here and meeting the right people to be able to represent that experience at these global conferences. Last but not least, there's a group page here in the community forum. It's a little bit different than the discussion. Here, you're able to, you have to please email us and let us know if you would like to create a group. You can create, sorry, let me click on the groups actually. You can contact us and let us know if you'd like to create a group. Groups can be open. They can be public, which means that you don't have to be logged in to see that the group exists and to see what's going on within that group, or they can be private. So for example, in the work that I do in Portugal on the octopus fishery, a couple ideas that I have about how to use this group function is for the co-management committee that we're going to be creating, I could create a private group so that we can be sharing information within the people that are participating in that co-management group. And that's just within that group, and it'll be private to the people that we decide to invite in and the people that are truly participants in that process. Or another idea that I've had there is to create an octopus management group where we could have people from all over the world that are working on octopus fisheries that are sharing their experiences and their ideas and management strategies for octopus, so that we can learn from each other and be able to connect with others that maybe are working in Madagascar and Mexico on octopus and share our experiences and, you know, evaluation methodologies that we're using for this species that can be difficult to manage. I also want to call attention to one last thing, which is this SSF Hub community group. This is a new group that we've created for all of the new users to the SSF Hub, and it's somewhere that we want everybody to be a part of, and it can be a social space that we can come in. I'd like to invite you to come in and introduce yourself, say where you're from, maybe share a picture about something that's significant in the fishery that you work with or that you're a part of. And this could be somewhere that every once in a while we'll be doing some social activities and asking questions and trying to connect with each other via the hub. So one last thing before I finish this tour is I'm going to log out. Really quick, I'll show you what I said before, where you can only see the one public group that exists. You can't see other private groups if you're not logged in. You can't see the member directory, for example. And then here, oops, is where if you have not joined and made a profile yet, you would click here to join, and you can sign up with your email address and creating a username, and then it'll ask you to create a password. Or to make it simpler, you can just use your existing Facebook or Google account to sign up onto the hub. So let me just go back here. I'm going to pause and see if anybody has any questions or thoughts about the hub and the features that I was just able to show you. And if you don't have any questions, here's some questions that we have for you too of, what do you think may be missing from the hub? We're creating a page that links to other global initiatives such as TBTI and other big groups. So what global initiatives do you think would be interesting to be connected onto the hub, or just ideas of how you could use the hub or promote it with your colleagues, with other fishers, other community members. So feel free to send a question in the chat or to just jump in if you have a question. I also, if anybody has any responses, to these questions, feel free. And if not, I also have a quick poll that I can share with you guys and see if I have a new message here, one second. I have a question here about how often are the resources on the hub that are available, how often are they updated? The resources on the hub we are going to be working with the people that submit resources onto the hub to make sure that we check in a few times a year at least, to make sure that the links are correct and that the information about them is correct, and that the resources that we're linking to are the most updated version of those resources. And then there's an option on the resource page on the top bar of the SSF Hub. Let me go there really quick. Oops. I'd have to be logged in. On the top bar here, there is an option where you can submit a resource, and the resources will be added and submitted on a rolling basis. So whenever you see that there would be something that would be interesting to add, or if you're working on something that you think it would be great to share on the hub, please do contact us and let us know, and we'll be happy to add that to the hub. I'm going to stop the sharing really quick and see if there's any other questions in the chat. Let me see. There is another question in the chat. It would be cool to feature a different resource each month to help people learn more about things they don't know and might be interested in. So yes, that SSF highlights that I showed you all on that homepage, it's going to be a blog that is going to be featuring different things going on the hub. So we'll be using that to feature stories from the field. We'll feature different resources that are available and be able to highlight different things and show new things as they come onto the hub. And that's a place where we're looking to do that. We also will be sharing a newsletter with the different people on the hub, or the people that are looking to stay informed. And that newsletter will also be sharing some details about the resources, new resources that we have, resources that we see are getting a lot of clicks and that people are interested in. And that way we can share that with other users of the hub and other people that are a part of this online community. A great question about how to make this more user-friendly for fishers, because a lot of fishers don't use a website to browse for information, and asking if the mobile version is light and fast enough to access. I personally prefer the mobile version. It is very light and nice to access. It's very streamlined and easy to use when you use the mobile version. We have designed it with this in mind, to try to make it really light and that people can access and navigate the hub without being too heavy on bandwidth and issues like that. You can also print and download the different resources on the hub or conversations from the hub. So sometimes if there's one person in the community that is accessing a computer and that can share that with others, which we know happens in some fishing communities, that can be another avenue that we use to access different people. And we are constantly thinking, and that is a great place for us to get suggestions from people of how we can improve that and make the site more accessible for people. And then suggestions for an app, something for us to consider in future iterations for sure. It's something that we've discussed, and this first version is not a possibility, but it's something that we have heard could be interesting for us to use. Right now, you can also share resources and link to it on social media or WhatsApp. So if you have something that's interesting, you could share and link to it via WhatsApp, which is also something that, at least in the fishing communities that I work in, is very much used by our groups that we're working with. Okay, I think I'll stop there. Thank you so much for your questions. If there are any other questions, or any other suggestions, there are in the chat, they've put an email that you can reach out to, and we'll share that also in a follow-up email. And we'd love to hear from you about any other questions or additions that you think that we could make to make the hub a better place, a virtual space for all of the people that are a part of that community. I'm going to share my screen again and just explain the setup for the breakout groups, but now we'll have a chance to go into smaller groups and actually meet some of the other people that are working in and with small scale fisheries that are on this call. These are some, like I said before, if you were able to in the beginning, or if you want to now, if you go over your video screen in the top right-hand corner, there's 3 little dots, and you can select the bottom option there, which is to rename yourself. If you would like to be placed in a group that is a Spanish speaking group or a Bahasa speaking group or other languages, we'll do our best to move you into breakout rooms for those languages. So just please change your name to indicate that at the beginning of your name. So use ES for Spanish, PT for Portuguese, IN for Bahasa Indonesia, or the 2-letter abbreviation for your language. Once you get to your groups, please introduce yourselves, get to know the other people that are a part of this smaller group. And we invite you to talk about some of the challenges that you're facing right now, or some of the solutions that you've come up in your work, and think about where there might be some common ground with the people that you're in with in this small group. And then when we come back, we will share some of the thoughts in the chat and hear from some of you. So I think we're all set to send everybody into the breakout rooms. Thank you so much I hope you had a good time meeting some other people and networking and connecting with people in your smaller groups. I invite you to share in the chat, if you like, something that you thought was really interesting that you heard in your group, or an interesting challenge or something in common from your group. So please feel free to add that into the chat and share with us a little bit about what happened in your group. We, for example, heard a few different examples in how communities are dealing with and addressing challenges around COVID, and coming together to sell direct to consumers. And we talked a little bit too about challenges about digital literacy and how to improve that, and especially important in thinking about the hub and access to the hub too. It's very relevant conversation. So we have only about a minute to hear from anybody, so please add anything in the chat if you would like, or I'm going to pass the mic over to Vishwani. I don't see anything else in the chat. So Vishwani, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. And since you passed it on to me before we go into the other session, I would just want to say in our breakout group, we did hear a lot about the need for information to drive co-management. One, sort of taking, from our colleagues, taking management action, and the need to get information to communities quickly for that purpose. And so that's one of the things that struck, that was sort of a common theme from the discussion in the breakout group. So the next part of the agenda really focuses on the future of the SSF Hub. And because we really are just at the starting point of the development of this hub. And we've heard from folks around the world on what they would like to see in the hub. And we are at this exciting moment where we have to start activating the hub, building it out to suit different needs. So what we want to do at this point is to open up the discussion to a few voices from around the world to share their vision and hopes for the hub and how it relates to small-scale fishing communities that they work with. So we've got 3 or 4 exciting speakers, and they're going to have 1 minute each to share their thoughts. So if I could start with Sylvia from EDF in Mexico. Sylvia, let's hear your vision.
Muchas gracias. Hola a todas y a todos, buenas noches desde México, Baja California Sur. Me emociona mucho pensar en una comunidad mundial de pesca artesanal, porque representa la oportunidad de construirla a partir de una idea compartida sobre la pesca sostenible, tanto como el modo de vida para esta y para las siguientes generaciones en las comunidades costeras, como estrategia también para contribuir a la conservación de los océanos y la vida marina, y como fuente de alimentos y de empleo para una población que crece en el mundo. Hub, que nos están presentando hoy, es una herramienta que puede ayudarnos a alcanzar esta visión de comunidad mundial, haciendo accesible a las personas el conocimiento, el ejemplo y la experiencia de otras en relación a los diversos procesos para la sostenibilidad en la pesca. Es una especie de Wikipedia de la pesca artesanal sostenible, con todos estos recursos que ya nos presentaron, pero también una suerte de red social para compartir, para interactuar y para hacer equipo con esas otras personas, superando las fronteras geográficas e incluso las lingüísticas. Este último año nos ha mostrado una vez más la importancia que tiene la pesca artesanal para garantizar la disponibilidad de alimentos en el mundo y la estabilidad de millones de fuentes de trabajo. También 2020 nos mostró la necesidad de estar vinculados, de trabajar y de aprender juntos para enfrentar estos nuevos desafíos. Pensando en ello, creo que el Hub y la idea de esta comunidad mundial de pesca artesanal llega en un excelente momento y está en nosotros aprovechar al máximo lo que nos ofrece. Pues nada, muchas gracias por invitarme a dar una brevísima opinión y felicidades a todos por este esfuerzo. Gracias por compartir.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. And now we're going to Sonia from Oceania, who's going to share her thoughts with us.
Hi, good evening and good morning for those of you on the other side of the globe. The reality is that small-scale fishers are spread out across coasts, and I think even more so with the pandemic, probably feel pretty isolated or that they don't have power. But I see the Small-Scale Fisheries Hub helping them realize that they're connected to a larger global community. And I really hope with active engagement, the Hub can help them achieve strength through collaboration. If you look at the Hub now, it's empty and neutral, and I really think it's going to be what we make of it. And that really requires communities to get on there and shape it to be a tool for them to use.
Thank you, Sonia. And now I will hear from Indah from Blue Ventures in Indonesia.
Thank you. Yeah, so for Blue Ventures, our work is mostly empowering small-scale fishing communities to manage their natural resources, supporting them with technical skills that are important for fisheries management, like participatory fisheries monitoring, participatory mapping, and participatory surveillance. I think SSF Hub will be an important medium for small-scale fishing communities to share and learn from each other on best practices, challenges, and lessons learned from various contexts. And I find that one of the interesting features is that SSF Hub has many resources on post-harvest fish handling to maintain the value of fish that will be applicable for many small-scale fisheries, because maintaining fish quality is one of the challenges that faced by many small-scale fishing communities in Indonesia as well. Thank you for all of us. Thank you for all of you for your hard work on building this hub. Thank you.
So thank you so much to our speakers on their vision for the hub. And I think some common themes that we've heard are sort of connecting to share information, connecting because we feel this sense of isolation, connecting to ensure that we build a more cohesive global community. And I just want to end this discussion on the vision for the future by saying that by doing this more successfully, through sharing these resources that are timely, needed, of high priority, we hope that leaders of the fishing communities themselves would be in a year's time, would be driving the further development of this hub. And from my point of view, that would be success, because they're the ones who are going to be bringing ideas on how the communities that they serve can better utilize the hub to meet their needs, and not only for improved governance of fisheries, but as we heard from Indo, also on their sort of community enterprises and on the improving the economics of the fishery. And so the social and management go hand in hand. So in catalyzing improvements in small scale fisheries. So we hope that community leaders would be taking more of a leadership role in the future development of the hub, and with NGOs really supporting them to achieve their vision for improved governance and resilience of small scale fisheries. So those are sort of my, thoughts and the thoughts on the panel on the vision for the future of small scale fisheries. I know there are the resources that for the group to share their vision as well, and be important if you want to do that via the chat. So we have a couple minutes. So before we move to sort of the last session, which would be the sort of closing remarks, first I want to say that we did ask you to answer a question at the beginning of the session of the webinar, where we asked about your experience in small scale fisheries. And just adding up everybody's experience, and I'm sure I didn't capture everyone, I could say that for this group, you guys have about a cumulative of at least 250 years of experience working in small scale fisheries. So let's ensure that we bring that to the development of the small scale hub, fisheries hub, and also in engaging our communities to participate and take advantage of these opportunities. So with that, just want to go to a few closing remarks, because we're coming to the end of the program today. And we would like you to go to the Google form that we have shared in the chat, add your email to get any sort of follow-up information from us. And also we will be sharing, if you add your email, you'll be able to receive a link to the recording, takeaways from today's launch party, and it was very festive. The people of the hub are what will make it strong. We need to have a strong community to support small scale fisheries. And so we are really encouraging you to follow the instructions, make your profile, join the group, and more importantly, or just as importantly, share with your networks. So I think thank you for your participation in making the hub what it is. And again, it's a living resource, and we want you to get people excited about what's next. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Pam. And if she has any other remarks to make from the behalf of EDF.
No, I think that was great. I just want to echo Vishwani's words that I really thank you guys for joining us and being a part of this event today. And I look forward to seeing you as part of the SSF Hub community. So please go on and make your profile, introduce yourself in the SSF Hub community group. So let's continue to meet other people and share experiences from our work in and with small scale fisheries around the world. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining.